Do you agree that illicit drug decriminalization and taxpayer-funded drugs should never have been allowed?
Respectfully, I think this is off topic of the topic of this committee and what I have jurisdiction.
Respectfully, Minister, I will interrupt you there because actually you are here today to talk on your mandate letter. And in your mandate letter, it says that you're to work with the Minister of Mental Health and Addictions to, quote, ensure mental health supports are accessible to children and youth, unquote. Do you agree with the Canadian Centre on Substance Abuse that mental health problems and substance abuse issues are linked?
Yes, I do.
So as Minister for Children, shouldn't you be seeking to address increasing youth overdoses then, especially when your government-funded hard drugs are so often being diverted?
As I was saying earlier, there is another minister who is the lead on this. Of course, I have conversations with her, but she is leading this work.
So, but Minister, it's right in your mandate letter, and I'll also bring up that the parents of 13-year-old Brianna McDonald, who tragically overdosed, were very clear on this link, where her mother said, quote, I think a lot of the reasons she was doing the drugs was the mental health problems she was having. So your ministerial mandate is to ensure mental health supports are accessible to children and youth. Are you taking any actions at all?
As I mentioned earlier, of course, I work closely with my colleague who has the lead on this file. She leads.
So as working closely, what actions have you taken, Minister?
I have conversations on a regular basis with my colleague who leads this file.
So what specific actions have you taken on this, Minister?
As I just mentioned, there's another colleague who leads. I provide input. She is the ultimate minister who is responsible.
So you're obviously not willing to answer this question on any actions that you've taken. It's right in your mandate letter. I will bring up as well that Brianna McDonald's parents told the HESA committee that they were unable to access mental health care for their daughter, but she was able to acquire, quote, Ziploc bags full of needles, cooking kits, and pamphlets on how to cook the drugs and safely use them, unquote. As Minister for Children, should children as young as 12 be provided needles, cook kits, and instruction manuals for drug use instead of mental health care?
Of course, again, as a mother, as a Minister for Families, drugs don't belong in our children's hands. I think everyone in this room and across the country can agree with that sentiment.
So I'll go back to you again, Minister. What actions specifically have you taken? It's right in your mandate letter on this issue.
Yeah, and as you read out earlier, my mandate letter indicates to work with the minister who is responsible, who has the lead on this file.
So what actions have you taken? What actions have you recommended?
I believe I've already answered this question, Chair.
No, you haven't, so I'll move on. Police associations are warning about the dangers of diversion of government-funded drugs, particularly diversion to children. A drug bust in Campbell River, British Columbia, found taxpayer-funded fentanyl molded into gummy bear and dinosaur shapes. So you're the Minister for Children and Families. Again, your mandate letter clearly states that you should be working with the Minister of Mental Health and Addiction. Have you taken any actions to protect children from diverted taxpayer-funded drugs?
Appreciate the question. Again, there is a minister who's leading this work. I provide input as she is requiring it.
So what specific input have you provided, Minister, on this?
I would point to a number of programs that we've put in place to help lift children out of situations like this, lift children out of poverty, whether that be
Minister,
the Canada Child Benefit.
I'm referring to diverted drugs, and you're not answering the question. What specific recommendations have you made to the Minister of Addictions to protect children from diverted drugs? No, you haven't answered it, so I'll move on. You and the Liberal government, in collaboration with the NDP, supported taxpayer-funded drugs flooding streets, parks, and playgrounds where children play in British Columbia, and this was occurring on your watch as the Minister of Children and Families, and you did nothing. It was only because of immense public pressure in British Columbia that BC decided to amend their policy and approach the federal government to remove of the approval. So based on the failed drug policy experiment in BC and based on the fact that you're the Minister for Children and Families, would you advocate to stop any expansion by your government to allow decriminalization in other jurisdictions, in particular in your province of Ontario?
Once again, respectfully, there is a minister who leads on this file, and it is not
You've actually
myself.
advocated for this in the past, Minister, when you were on City Council in Ottawa. So it's surprising you're not willing to answer that question.